be something like Knights of Columbus and Company A, B, and C. So it's just something to think about. But it's a worthwhile trip. Who have not been there, Petronava's a great guy. Jim, would you care to summarize where we're at on the project and what has to be done yet, or Michael? Jim?
Looks like Jim. No, I don't see Jim.
Jim's muted.
Jim, can you unmute and
There we go.
just give us a little summary of where
Yeah.
we're at?
Sorry about that. Yeah, we got the biggest thing left is clean up and touch up. That's kind of where we are right now. I think Michael has a day scheduled. I don't remember exactly what day it is. Maybe Michael can fill that in. But that's where we are. I think it's supposed to be this coming Saturday.
Is Michael on?
I thought she was.
He was earlier.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened. But anyhow, well, that's good, Jim.
She sent out the email, and we're also looking for some. We finished a couple of an end table and a coffee table and coffee table and another table for a TV stand, and those are done. Michael's going to get the a bed. We're looking for a couch and we're looking for a TV at this point in time. And a chest of drawers. I guess they got a chest of drawers, I think. But anyway, we're looking for that stuff. If anybody's got any laying around that they want to donate, we're looking for just basically a love seat size, a small, that or a decent, comfortable chair. There's only going to be one person in there. So that would be, pretty much what we need. And so if anybody runs across that, let me know. We'll get her going. That's it for as far as that goes. We just need some help this weekend coming up.
That's good. And do take some pictures. Well, very good, Jim. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Move on to the next slide. 12 improvements. Is Paul Nobles on?
Let's see.
Don't see him.
Paul is not on.
Okay, he's not on. Well, what we're trying to do is improve certain aspects of club operations. Like one is the social media, the website, and the email system. So Paul is kind of in charge of those things. Well, one of the things is on the social media, if you look at the Facebook site, a good thing to do is for members to like the Facebook and then think about things to post on Facebook. Social media is kind of a big deal. The other thing with the email system, right now an issue we have is when they come from Club Runner, they go into spam folders or junk email folders sometimes. So, that's a problem. Like in my case, emails from me go into my own junk. If I can set them up right, but when I did the calls, 1/4 of my people says we didn't even know we're meeting because we hadn't gotten an email. What we're going to do is we'll probably click over to MailChimp. We can do audits and find out who's reading it and that kind of stuff. And it should not go into junk mail. So, and that's going to happen sometime in the near future. On the meetings, last time we had kind of intermittent quality audio and video because we had very good download but weak upload. Now in this case we have 130 megabits down and 38 megabits up. So our internet speed should be flawless. We're getting very good support out of community gardens. And what we're going to do is we're going to record by Zoom, host the meetings, the program portion of the meeting. We'll post it to YouTube, so it'll be there for posterity. And the last point is membership is an issue. And think about inviting an appropriate friend to the club. Think, when's the last time you invited someone to, would you like to come to a Rotary club?
So we can't invite our inappropriate friends?
Well, don't invite them. Be a little bit. We are exclusive.
I prefer inappropriate friends.
Well, whatever. Use your own judgment. Ellen currently in prison, for example. But the nice thing about the Zoom meetings is people can participate nicely in their jammies. So I have a dream, lots of organizations simply floundering and failing, and this is not ideal. I'm not arguing it is, but you can invite someone to participate and say, this is my cup of tea or not. So invitation is kind of a big deal. So, next slide. Ooh. Fundraising. We need to do fundraising, not for the sake of running, raising money per se, but if we're going to do projects, we need to get funds. Now, in the past, projects do a couple things. Supporting projects is one of the things is, of course, essentially the essence of four-way test, like service above self, beneficial, all concerned, that stuff. So it's kind of a big deal, which is part of what Rotary is about, is service. And it shows relevance to our community and visibility. An issue with our club is we're a bit covert still. Now, ideally, we do social media and we do a little bit of proselytizing with our members, we'll become less covert. That's kind of a key, is to encourage, our visibility and fundraising projects, which are valuable. Like a classic, very valuable project is the Bastrop Novice Shelter Project. That's kind of a big deal. It's not a matter of writing a check off for $5,000 to send off to somebody. So we're doing collaboration, like our fundraiser support of the Paul project. We chipped in a small amount. We got to be part of a $90,000 effort. Next slide. Okay. In essence, the men who cook is kaput, at least for the foreseeable future. The men who cook is great. I happen to like it, partly for fundraising and partly I like to get introduced to people. Maybe at some point we'll be able to go back to that. But we do have the option of a silent auction event. And so it can be online. Example of an event like this is done by the Travis County Audubon Society, which raised $50,000 between Thursday and Friday. Just ended up a couple of weeks ago. Typically, they have a larger event where they raise more money, but in this case, purely by online. They raised, as I understand it from Van Goebel, they raised $50,000 by selling stuff. And the beauty is you never had to handle any of the stuff. It's kind of like drop shipping. People offered things, most of them were experiences. They offered things, and we never had to take possession. It's a good environment. So, and then a lot of things are experiences or services or unique things. Most of us have what we think, but that maybe is an attractive thing. I'll talk about that in a second. But one of the things we get out of an event like this is we get some visibility. Besides fun, we can say we're having this event to support this cause, gives something to publicize. The social media, we're now part of the Smithville Chamber, or Chamber website, calendar, and all that stuff. Gives us something to say on such and so date, we're actually doing something. Doing something besides just Tuesday meeting is a good thing. One of our things is that many of our members, or people have valuable skills or services or assets to be marketable. Now, for a silent auction, because going and buying stuff from Walmart or Specs or whatever, we're going to give you 9 bottles of wine. That's all well and good. But if you can offer something which people can't just go and buy, I think we'll do better. Next slide. This is the website, and that's kind of their punchline. Fundraising for nonprofits. But this is, it's their thing. This website, they charge like 2% for any cash or credit or cash or not charge. They charge a little bit more. It's a virtual gala site, which is exactly what we're talking about. And we're not going to have a bunch of people assembling, but it's a virtual gala. So this is a silent auction approach. We can't do the men who cook. Maybe at some point we'll be able to do something like that, but who knows when that's going to be. The fundraising service for a nonprofit. We're going to see on the slides. We could click on that link. Can you click on that link? See what happens? Click.
I'll probably have to share that in.
No, you have to show it. If you click on that, that's
It's,
I was thinking, okay, well, not a big deal. You can go to that site, but their thing is essentially virtual galas. And that's what they do. So again, I don't have any stock in them, but that's. Now, one of the things that doesn't involve all their work, but remember, now there's other choices besides this, but this seems like a viable option. So apparently they have fairly low overhead, and so it's good. When you're going to donors, it's nice to know if you donate $1,000 that $400 is not going to overhead, and that's the way a lot of charity events go. There's incredible overhead. I mean, I like Men Who Cook, but the money we took in, something like 30% had to go to various expenses. In this case, for this kind of thing, essentially we can say that virtually 100%. If you donate $1,000, it's going to go $1,000, and it's going to go to the cause that you're contributing to. So that's a good thing. So now the main work by our members for this sort of thing is you need to set up an account. I set up an account for this thing. I set up an account for PayBee. There's going to be an orientation class, but there's just a couple of people required. There's not an auctioneer in a normal sense. It's click, 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 and say, I want to buy this, the other thing, and that's kind of deal. What we have to do is, what we need from members is, there's certain people involved in mechanics of administering things. That's straightforward stuff. But then we have to go and get donations. You can't have an auction without donations. So that's kind of big. So get organized donations. But I think most of the donations are going to be things you don't have to ever take physical possession. Now, Amberly says if we do get some things which are physical possession, she can store them at the bank and contribute them. But that's for physical possession things. But I'm thinking that vast majority of stuff, if you're offering a fishing trip, you don't deliver a fishing trip. You deliver a contact me to get your fishing trip. Excellent. Okay, here's some suggestions by Amberly. Basically, we have, it's a group effort. It's sometimes we can't have be a one-person show or two-person show. It shouldn't be too hard. But what we want to do is think about, what you can donate for someone you know or a business. The auction will be online, maybe, go to that link. One of the things is we're going to emphasize quality/unique items, service, and experiences. Example of experience would be someone offered a fishing trip. I can offer something. Think about experiences. People want to do stuff. These days, they're just chomping at the bit to do something fun and safe. So experience is a good thing. Or a service. If you have a particular skill, like for example, Jim has skills with making things. Okay, I'll make you if you can make a custom, whatchamacallit, that's better than going to Walmart. You can't buy a custom called Walmart. The items can be dropped off at the bank or anything physical. We'll post this to all this stuff to Facebook and to PayBee. We're going to send out a letter to Bastrop, but the thing about an online thing, if you have a cause which is visible, you can collaborate like with other clubs. For example, in essence, it doesn't have to go to Bastrop business. As long as a business thinks this is value to me, then by God, I'll contribute. Because you get some publicity. Let's say you're Peabody Enterprises and you donate a thingamabob. Say, okay, Peabody Enterprise in the business of making thingamabob, and you get to put your little logo and a description of it, which can increase awareness. So it's a good deal for business. One of the things is, the letter will say this, that essentially we have to let the sponsors know this is going good for good stuff, like community projects, scholarships, or whatever it is. It's not going to become your thing. Do is pay to boost our auction. This is Paul and other people know about boosting. You get for a few pennies, get to increase your outreach. Interesting about an online thing, it's a way to the present. Online stuff, like it or not, that's the way it is. And we can post things on Facebook, You get boosted Facebook pages, a whole nother long story, and they just get to the top of the queue, search stuff like that. Next.
Wait, can I jump in for a second?
Oh yes, Paul. Oh, good. I'm glad to see you're there.
Yes, sir. So another really, really good way for us all to help, boost or push this out is that anyone with a Facebook page needs to share the Rotary posts of the different donated items, et cetera, on their own pages, or at least in messages of people that they think would be interested. And at least definitely like it. So if you click the like button, and comment, if we get a lot of likes and comments on a post, it's going to naturally get boosted. So we're not even necessarily going to have to pay, although I don't think it would be a terrible idea, but typically we don't just quote boost up. We actually just we create a little campaign for it with specific designated targeting. But at any rate, if we could all just share and like and comment on all of these things, even if it's hey, cool item, or love it, or anything. It doesn't have to be big blurb or something. But that will naturally just organically give it some boosting power. And also, I've done this before at my previous club a few years ago. I will donate a website to get the ball started. So anyone else that has services that they can, and here's how this typically works. So you typically won't get the initial value back, right, of your donation, but that's what it's about. It's about donating. So I'll donate a website. It's $1,500 to $3,000, let's just say, but on value. But typically, someone will end up getting it for a few hundred or $500 or something. And typically, what happens is they'll come back and use it later, and then they'll continually use your service, or so it really does help to like what happened that time. I donated it. It didn't go for a ton, maybe $1,000 or something, and that client ended up being a client of mine for 5 years. So that's the kind of stuff that can happen when you do donate some services.
That's a very good point, because you get, like in your case, Paul, you donate a service and it's a website for Nobles Enterprises, whatever your thing is called. So you get, when you make up the write-up, you could have a link. Go to that AB site, you can have a link on there to get more information. Click here. So it can really work out good if we do this right.
Yeah, I agree. And we've done this actually, not obviously because of this, but we had another issue several years ago at the Rotary where I think our event center got canceled or something. Something happened in our event. I can't remember exactly what happened, but we had a big fundraiser planned and had to cancel it, and we went virtual with it. So it's been done.
It's virtual. The interesting too, we can try and solicit support from other clubs.
I think that also the virtual thing also makes a huge awareness to people, that may not have understood what Rotary was or seen what Rotary is. And so I know we're getting into another part of it.
No, that's all very relevant. That's part of the purpose of doing an event. It's to let people know that Rotary Club of Bastrop County exists.
Yeah, creating awareness for the club itself and trying to recruit new members.
Can you say anything about that current slide?
We already kind of touched on it.
Okay, here, let's talk about this for just a second here. Donations, think about unique quality items, and that's, experiences and services are a trend, not so much things. Now think about things that you or people or businesses have that's valuable, that people will be willing to pay money for. For example, Richard Martin offered a canoe expedition. And so he's going to have a write-up of it's canoe expedition for umpty squat people to go down the Yucca-Guinea, whatever it is. And he does a little write-up and people make bids on it. And you have wine at the end or whatever you want to do. Now, the interesting thing from a business standpoint, going back to what Paul said a second ago, is you get to make donations for good cause, which is altruistic. From your business standpoint, it can be a good deal because you're getting some publicity. You do a write-up and you get an opportunity for tax write-off. You know, like in my case, what I'll probably do, because I actually have a business, is I'll donate what's called a custom theme hayride on my 106-acre wildlife event and have, you know, food and all that kind of stuff afterwards. So there's some people be into that. You know, what we'd encourage you to do is think about, because this only works if our members get donations. So go and think, put your thinking cap on. What do you have that's valuable that someone is willing to pay money for? And what businesses, I'm going to be hitting up, like the Community Gardens has an incredible, it's worth a trip when you're done here. Go look at the incredible inflatable playscapes. They have like half a dozen things here, just amazing. What they said is they rent out for events and they'll probably give that as a donation. If you approach businesses right, it's like a no-brainer. Now, some businesses work for, some businesses doesn't. But if you have a service or an experience, that's a good thing. And like the community garden probably has several things here in this category. So now think about what you'd like to donate. Next. Other topics. Now, again, the model, what I'm going to do is consult with the Travis County Audubon Society. They are much bigger than us. They have 6 paid staff. I mean, they have a zillion members. So we're not going to, first of all, we're not competing with them, but we're going to get some lessons learned. So I put in a call to the director and she'll call me back. But what they did, I think it's a reasonable model. You start your silent auction at some time like 6 p.m. on a Thursday or noon or whatever it is. You can start at most any time. You could have it run for a week. But at some cutoff, like any other auction, you say, bong, and at 6 p.m. on that Saturday, February the 43rd, it's done. So that can work out. Now you do have the option, just like on eBay, you could have a buy it now. You can have a silent auction, people bid, or you can say, okay, if I get at least $500 from a whatchamacallit, that's good enough. Some people are into that. So that's an option too, and at that point you're locked in. So it's a classic auction deal. Now, a question for y'all is, what is it? We want to have some time to get excitement, donations, and all that stuff. And so, not urgency, we don't put it off till forever. We have a meeting where it's kind of figuring about dates, but we don't have to do this right immediately. We want to have a deadline, draw a line in the sand, and say the date's going to be such and so. So this is a call, something like late winter, early spring, Valentine's Day. Does anyone have an opinion of what's a good date to have this event?
Well, I'm concerned about us being able to pull it all together by, November or December. And I guess another thought is an early date, like a February. If you're offering experiences and things outside, if you're selling something now that you won't be able to do until, who knows, March or April or May of next year. If you do it maybe like in February, then you have the expectation, hey, maybe I can do this in the next couple of months.
Right. I agree. That's a good thing. We can't do it in November, December. It just doesn't give us time to put it together. But your experience is going to be good for like a year. Let's say you did it on Valentine's Day, which is February the 28th or whatever it is. You have a whole year to use your canoe trip.
Sure.
So does anyone have a brother of a time?
I think probably February. I think that's probably.
Okay, February gives us now it's October. If we do this in February, it allows us to get a good day as any is Valentine's Day. Whatever Valentine's Day, that Saturday closest to Valentine's Day would be a reasonable date, whatever that date is.
Hey, Norm.
Yes.
Kathy, the only thing about that, I think that's the exact same time that the chamber is doing their banquet. They do it every year, and I know Becky uses that too. So I just don't know what the group would feel about doing it about the same time as the chamber banquet.
That's an interesting point. Now, an interesting thing is we're a member of the chamber. Now, when they do their banquet, do they have an auction like this?
Yeah, they usually have like a silent auction, and then they have auction items too.
Okay, well then,
We just need to find out when they're doing it. We just won't do it
Yeah.
concurrently with it. We do it week before, week after.
yeah, we want to avoid. Theirs is Valentine's Day. You're saying, Kathy?
It's a couple days before Valentine's Day, so
Okay,
it's right
we'll do
at
it
that time.
Well, we have to do it before or after sometime. We have to avoid that.
Would it be possible to combine it with?
Well, the problem is they're going to be looking for donations for a cause X, Y, and Z, and we're going to look for causes A, B, and C. Now we're going to publicize this thing for the chamber, and people can donate to whatever. We're not competing, but we are, in one sense, competing. So let's slide the date.
We need to know exactly.
What she said is, she says Valentine's, which is February the what? February 14th. So we could do it February 1st or March 1st or whatever it is.
Hey, Norm,
Yes,
we talked, Becky was on what, last week? And I
yes.
asked her that question of like when what their plans were for the banquet. And
Yeah.
I believe, if I remember right, she said that they didn't exactly have the specific date yet. But I believe it was February, mid to the end. And
Well, let's put down an action. I'll touch base with Becky and find out what their plans are. We don't want to be competing with it.
no, I agree. And also, go ahead.
We need to make sure it's on a payday weekend.
Payday weekend. And quick question, are we planning, I mean, since it's a, virtual auction deal, like, wouldn't we just do it over a specific period of time and not just in one day?
No, it is over a period of time.
It
You
is.
start it concludes at a specific day and a specific time, like 6 p.m. on that Saturday.
Right, but wouldn't we do it like for a week or do it for
Yes.
a few days or?
Yeah, a few days.
Yeah.
What I think a reasonable model is people have done this before, because I frankly have no experience with doing this exact thing myself. But I think the way the Audubon Society, they started a silent auction like 3 days in advance and had a magic day. By the time the magic day rolled around, they had already sold many other things. But it runs for several days.
Gotcha.
All right, so we have a little bit of uncertainty on date. But
So I have a suggestion. So we are going to be asking the same exact businesses for donations as
Yes.
the chamber. So I think we need to put more time between our two events, just to give the businesses some time before they're asked for another donation. I think it will increase our odds of getting donations.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to ask right now. We're going to send out the letter. The way businesses work is they typically have donation budgets. The fact that our actual event, they're going to decide fairly soon if they're going to donate or not. When their actual date is probably not a big deal to an honest to God business. So we'll come up with a date, and we're going to send out once we come up with a date and a spiel, Mike Helmick. Mike, are you on the line?
He's not here today.
Okay, that's fine. That's right. He's not here today. But what we'll do is Mike has drafted up a letter, and it's going to say we're going to have this event with the format and the cause is going to go to. So that's going to go to the members. So we'll avoid direct conflict with the chamber event. Now, if the COVID situation improves, we can still do this silent auction event online, and we could have some sort of live or hybrid or something. If things work out, hey, that's wonderful. That's great. But there's the ace in the hole. I'm confident we should be able to raise reasonable amount of money. If we get reasonable donations and we make it clear that the key is identifiable cause. It should go to something that people understand, like the Pastor Navas project. It's not a matter of writing a check for $5,000 to go to some other group. It's going to, what we do, our Lost Pines Garden Club thing is we raise $13,000 on a Friday and a Saturday because we say 100% of proceeds go to a summer children's program. People understand it. And we have pictures of smiling children and that kind of stuff. If you make your cause clear, businesses from altruistic and from efficiency will step forward. So,
Hey, Norm,
yeah.
it's Rick.
Yeah, hi, Rick.
I didn't want to interrupt till the end, towards the end, but I want to make it clear that Ryla wants to know if we're going to send people to their camp, and I don't know if we have the money to do it. Do we have to do it?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, how much money is for Ryla? How much is required?
I think each student is $1,000.
Okay, our treasurer is shaking his head north and south, saying we can contribute $1,000 to Ryla.
But
We just need to know,
how many kids?
I don't know.
how many do we know?
I think we sent 2 last year.
All right, we can do 2. We can do $2,000.
Okay, what we can do is, there's a separate stuff from this, is
Yeah,
Remington is saying we should be, Ryla's a good thing.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
So, and we can say that this is an activity supported by this kind of event. Supporting kids is a flat out winner.
Yeah.
Everyone loves kids. So let's just, going back to Rick's point, is let's assume we'll donate out of current year's funds two $1,000 scotch for Ryla. Okay, let's see, I think that's it. Next slide. Oh,
That's it.
any other club? This is a club assembly.
How
So
about
go ahead.
scholarships to the schools? Norm?
You go ahead. You're breaking up a little bit. Hello? Hello? Okay. Well, does anyone else have any business, club business, desires, complaints, bitches, whatever's, suggestions, programs or otherwise? We're
Norm?
always, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I missed a lot of that. Things went blank. So we got to send a couple kids to Ryla, and we're going to, do we have money for like $5,000 for scholarships to the schools?
No, I would assume that's $5,000 for, basically, here's the thing is, we don't know how much we're going to get. My suggestion is, I would hold off on scholarship, because I don't know how much money do we have in the treasury right now? Just approximate.
I mean, we probably had $15, $20. I
Okay.
mean, we're fine on money, but I think we paid out all the promised scholarships.
So we paid out the promised scholarships?
Isn't that right, Rick? We're done right with scholarships that we needed this year, right?
Yeah, we have one left. I haven't been able to get a hold of the student, but that was another $5,000 for next year.
Yeah, we'll worry about next. We're still raising money for next.
Yes.
But I think we're done writing checks now.
Okay, good. So that's actually what this is about, is to raise money for, this event is, because, we get our money from this kind of event. So the moral of the story is, go for it and hit your friends, neighbors, and yourself up.
Okay, so Norm, the schools are calling me and they want to know if we're going to provide the scholarship. I'd like to say yes, and if something happens, they'll understand.
Now wait.
Okay. So schools are asking about, are we going to have scholarships available for
next year?
This next year, yeah.
So not ones we promised, but ones that we would write for other people.
We haven't selected anyone. We haven't told them we're going to give them. They know it's a trying time, but they want to know, can we do it again next year?
I mean, I would assume we're gonna try to do scholarships again.
Basically, we have to have a separate discussion on what is the biggest payoff.
I mean, I think we probably should do scholarships
We should do
again.
some.
Absolutely. You know, I don't know if what we do 4 last year, 5?
Well, we could do $500. I mean, we could.
Yeah, I was about to say, we will do some form of scholarship.
Okay, that's good.
Sure.
That's a good thing.
You know, I don't know whether it'll be 1250 or 2500, you know, but we'll do, I'd say, absolutely, let's do some.
Yeah, we should do some.
scholarships.
What we should do is we should evaluate, you know, have a discussion on prioritization. I mean, I like scholarships. They're good, but they benefit one student. I'm thinking of like the Pastor Novice project. It's benefiting a whole bunch of people for a long time. It's worth a trip there. So when you're thinking about maximum bang for the bucks, let's a separate story. Let's assume as Rick and company are saying, do some scholarships, and let's review our financial plans and partly our financial success. Because unfortunately, right now, we have an indeterminate amount of money coming from this auction, which is occur sometime in February. So we can't
promise.
promise what
We can't promise $4 $1,250 scholarships, and we don't know if we'll have.
That's right.
$5,000 available.
Okay, that comes from our financial treasurer's guru. So
Okay.
when they say we'll do something, and we just don't know how much, but the RILA thing, assume that's a done deal.
Okay.
Any other club business?
A quick question. Norm?
Yes.
So should we assume, okay, so you're creating a fundraiser, we're building an event or something like that. What about sort of creating, we'll figure out an event, an actual live event for say March or something. And I mean, shouldn't we like plan it as if it is going to be okay? And then if it's not,
That's kind of what I said.
Planned, right?
That's kind of what I said at the beginning. I don't know when you picked up.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, basically what I said is we can plan. We don't want to make milk this out forever.
Right.
If things improve, we could have a hybrid event. We could have a live event. We'll take a given the online event will occur no matter what.
Correct.
And world ends. But we can't commit because we don't know when the situation is going to improve. Doing live events, I'm a huge fan of live events.
Yeah.
And regardless of fundraisers or whatever it is, we want to do live events as soon as the doors are open. That's fine by me.
Okay, so should we, you know, at another time, obviously, have some discussions about what kind of events that we're going to have. I know I missed that meeting. I'm sorry.
Well, no. Basically, that I'm a huge fan of live events. We want to have social things. Now, if we find, I mean, we're gonna assume this live auction is going to occur.
Yeah.
But if things dramatically improve, you can still have an online auction with people present. And if a miracle occurs and things really get in order, I say, great, go for it. It takes some time to put together a significant live event. Like a Men Who Cook is a huge, humongous deal. But we could have some sort of medium-sized live event. And so putting your thinking cap of what is a, quote, medium-sized live event, fundraising or not. Because I'm ready for fun.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I'm ready for fun.
Me too.
Paul, since you're there, can you give us this, I don't know if you were at the beginning, can you tell us where you're at on email, social media, Facebook, and websites?
Yeah, so the MailChimp account has been set up. The best way to enter emails into the MailChimp is not to import them. Even though our list is small, the best way is to actually physically put them in via the website. Or even through Facebook tab. We can create a tab with a mail sign up on there, and which I'll probably do. So we want to get everyone in there so sometimes when you upload massive email lists to any of these companies, a lot of them are just kicked out or they're not delivered.
That's the mechanics. There's only 30 of us, unfortunately, so.
Right. So
However you do it,
them all-
I change the list, but that's the mechanics. But it's, the point is you can get the MailChimp going and it's going to be so much blood club runner.
Yeah, it's done. It's set up. I just need to get the people in there. But what I want to do is get everyone in the county, some the mayor, everybody else on the list too, by sending them an invite to join the list.
That's
Right?
a good thing. That's a wonderful idea. Then we can have members, we have honorary members, and we can have people of consequence.
Right. We have a couple different lists, right? We'll have our own internal member list when we're saying, hey guys, this is internal communication. And then we have, a broad, preferably some sort of, monthly newsletter or something that just says, hey, this is what we did this month. This is what we're doing next month.
Great. That's wonderful.
And then the website, I'm working on it now. It's going to be pretty cool. And really, I need anyone who has some cool pictures, just send them to me. Any cool pictures of Rotary on your phones and your
That would be particularly attractive, and that's particularly
old or new, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, like, I have some from the Pastor Navas project, but pictures are a big deal.
Yeah, and I've been. If you've seen the Facebook, I've got some of those tiny house pictures.
They're looking good. Facebook's looking good.
I would love to have some sort of write-up from somebody about it. I wouldn't say I'm I'm a pretty good writer, but I'm not very knowledgeable about this project exactly. Like it's been going on for a while.
You might look at the write-up. You might look at the write-up. I copied you on my write-up I made for the newspaper.
Oh.
Like one paragraph, which says, this is what the project is about, this is what its purpose. Look at that. And it's not one medium-sized paragraph. And that kind of gives
perfect.
Well, it gives the purpose of why the Pastor Navas shelter exists, and Pastor Navas blessed that. And of course, this is done with like Doug's plumbing, so Doug blessed that summary too. And so it's a paragraph with some pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna look for it. If you'd send that to me again, if you could.
I'll take care of that.
I appreciate that. I will get that up there. I think it's really important that we tell everyone exactly what that is, even if they don't get that the newspaper or whatever it is.
No, that's a basically you hit the nail on the head, Paul. It's important. We're in a steady declining membership mode. Been that way for years, and but I think this is an opportunity. We should be able to come out ahead because essentially everyone's an e-club to some extent, so not everyone likes us. But if we toot our own horn, and don't be afraid. If you listen to the club PR people, do not be afraid to brag.
Yeah.
If you do good stuff, say so. Okay.
Can I make a comment? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael, I have not been able to break into the conversation. Pastor Nava has a very good website up, ITS-HUH in the streets, hands up high. There's lots of information about his village and what he's doing. We have lots of pictures, not very many people in them because it's the same people who've been doing all the work, folks. So I didn't hear what Jim said about what our needs are.
Yeah.
I couldn't get on because I couldn't find the link in all the emails I got from you, Norman.
It's the same every week for the meetings.
It's not been the same every week.
It's the same every week for the meeting. It's been that way for months.
There's also
At any rate, I need someone who's willing to donate linens for a twin bed, at least one set of towels.
I'll do it.
We need the big chair or a small love seat. And I think for the time being, we've got everything else covered. I hope to see some of your smiling faces with your rubber gloves, your dust rags, and your 409 on Saturday.
What is the linens? What do you need?
Well, we're gonna clean on Saturday, and we'll start setting up house. And twin bed's been donated. I need linens for it.
Twin bed. Is that got pillows?
One pillow is what I've got right now. I
Okay.
need sheets and a blanket, maybe a coverlet, bedspread.
Yeah, I'll donate it. I'll order it and I'll get it to you. Where do you want it shipped?
I want you to bring it to the house on Saturday and help us clean.
Okay.
Oh.
I know.
Well, there's a bunch of others have done all the other hard work. This is
So it's
easy
painted,
work.
it's ready, huh?
It's ready. We're just doing a final cleanup, final touch up. We're gonna start locating furniture in it.
I'll tell you, follow through with Michael saying, for those who have not been to that thing, it's worth a trip. It's very amazing. Get the tour from Pastor Nava and from Michael and Jim. I mean, those shelters for women and children, and they have a church there. And he has a story about their church as a simultaneous church in case of a disaster. It's an emergency shelter. It's an incredible facility. It's worth a trip.
I just looked it up on the internet, just Pastor Nava Bastrop, and there's tons of articles in KXAN and
Oh, I know.
pictures.
It's good stuff. Going to Michael's point is it's worth a trip. Anyhow, good. Well, thank you, Paul.
My pleasure.
Anything else, Michael?
Nope. Show up Saturday. Help us clean up.
Splendid. All right. Now, one of the things as I'm going back to the shelter thing is Pastor Nava says, those women and children's shelters there, it's a tiny house, that we've been working mostly on the veteran shelter. Whether we're going to put a permanent sign there, I don't know. He said if we donate $6,000, we'll get a permanent shelter, which essentially is a tiny house. And what they do it for transitional housing, like if you go there, you're going to see like 8 of those. And you're going to see there's like 3 businesses. And then there's Knights of Columbus and something or other and something or other and something or other. It's something to consider.
Our name will be on this house. It's the house that we are donating.
Okay. If
We
it's
will
permanent.
spend really 10 grand on it by the time we're done.
Well, that's good. Well, anyhow, it's a good cause. There's other organizations which have, so anyhow, it's an easily identifiable cause. Okay. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Let's move on to the 4-way test. First, is it
True.
second?
Second, for all concerned.
Third?
Will goodwill and better friendships.
And fourth?
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you for showing up.
Nice.
Stop recording.
Got a real bell this time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting good at this slowly.
And it sounds good. The